Talk about disastrous. That's really the only way to describe the 2007 season for the Miami Dolphins. Their 1-15 record set a new franchise record in futility. And now the number of question marks surrounding this team are endless. Star linebacker Zach Thomas was cut. The status of Jason Taylor still up in the air. And oh yeah, they do have the #1 pick in the NFL draft coming up on April 26th. Speaking of the draft, we simply cannot wait any longer. So we're starting our own NFL mock draft right here on ESPN First Take, making one pick for each team every day. So Miami is on the clock. And to make our inaugural pick, we welcome Jeff Darlington, the beat writer for the Miami Herald. Jeff, first and foremost, what are the biggest holes this team needs to focus on going into the draft?
There are definitely holes. I think that, they've done some things during free agency to kind of fix some of these holes. They brought in Jason Ferguson and Randy Starks behind him to kind of fill in a defensive tackle. They brought in some linebackers to add depth there, and they feel good about running back. But offensive tackle, left tackle, that's a huge hole. They want to move Vernon Carey back to the right side, which is going to require them to get a left tackle and somebody effective that can come in right away. I think that they're going to have to address that in the draft, and they're also going to want to get maybe an edge rusher, someone to come off the end, because they really don't know about Jason Taylor's future, and they were not able to lock up Calvin Pace. So we'll see what happens, but I think offensive tackle and defensive end are pretty big holes right now.
Okay, so that's what they need. What are they targeting? Could those be two different things?
No, those are actually probably the two things that they're targeting. They'll probably also try to get some more cornerbacks and defensive backs through the end of free agency, but I would imagine that during the draft that they're actually going to try to address that offensive line. They're going to continue to try to lock up depth there. They need a lot of good impact players, and I think that that's probably going to be the biggest need right now.
And that would be tough to bring in a very young left tackle. It could take time for him to adjust. All right, here we go. You have the first pick. Who are you taking?
I'm going to go with defensive Chris Long. Jake Long is the offensive tackle who a lot of people think could fit into that spot too. Both guys, I think, promising prospects. I'm veering away from Matt Ryan because they brought in Josh McCown in free agency, so I'm going to say Chris Long, as long as he can prove to be an effective guy standing up as an outside linebacker, because that's where he's going to have to play in the NFL.
So lots of work to do for Bill Parcells and company. Jeff Darlington of the Miami Herald, thank you very much for joining us.
No problem at all.
So from the Dolphins to the Rams, St. Louis is on the clock, and we will have their pick tomorrow. Now, let's go back to Jay.